YouTube are live. So, welcome everyone. This is Trudvang Chronicles Wildheart episode 3. When last we left our trustworthy adventurers, they had just finished exploring Rudvid's cairn. Nobody died. One guy did go a little crazy, but nobody died. So, let's see. You guys camped outside of the tomb and had a pretty restful night overall. Let's see what our weather's going to be like when you guys wake up in the morning. Oh, that sucks.
Is it sub-zero?
It is not sub-zero. I should probably take that modifier off of my roll, though. It would make a difference. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, so you wake up on a day that's nice and sunny. There's a few little light, fluffy clouds in the sky, but it doesn't look like it's going to be terrible. But it would be a stereotypical day in Oklahoma, but you've got gale force winds going on, so you're getting 30, 40 mile an hour gusts in a good steady 20 mile an hour wind. So you can hear the wind roaring through the trees on a pretty regular basis here.
We head west.
You head west, okay.
Because that's left.
Left is an important answer.
And just so the shooty guy knows, with this force of wind, your ranged attacks will be -4 because it's gale force winds.
Who's Gale? Sorry.
So somehow we ended up in Oklahoma, is what you're telling me.
Where the wind comes sweeping down the plains.
Stop, because I don't want that song stuck in my head.
It'll make you feel better. I'll start singing it.
Oklahoma.
Where though? I would do this for you, Jeff.
Your singing right there was better than the best singing Chris has ever done, so don't encourage him.
We head west.
Okay.
West is about as good as the direction as any. We've got one secret now, right?
You've got the answer to one. I don't think you've got the question.
I've been having to know both questions and answers.
Yes, you have to know questions and answers. Yeah, you haven't met anybody that knows the question that you have an answer to. Let's see. Let me double check my notes here and see if you guys know any full secrets. You have the question to one of the secrets, which was who is the warrior of death that you got from Barkbull.
It has some information then.
And you've got another question, which is why are the paths longer than they are short, which was known also by Barkbull, the giant.
Good old Barkbull.
Yeah, who's now snoring away somewhere in the forest.
God's always there for us.
Man does snore loudly.
Well, you know, it's a giant.
I
So
don't understand your meaning.
it's like a 60-foot tall Seth.
Well, I quit then.
Well, if that was the case, you could locate him in the woods from anywhere in the woods by following the sound. But
Locate him anywhere on the planet.
all right. The only thing I hate about the official Trudvang Chronicles PDFs is that they are not bookmarked.
They are not.
All right, so you guys travel west.
Okay.
As opposed to
You're
east,
heading-
which is reverse left, west. Reverse left. There we go. Which, just so you know, Mike, has become a thing.
Yes.
Reverse left.
It's hilarious. Looks that we get.
Okay. Oh. So you guys travel west, and as you leave the mountain with Revid's 2 minute, the forest begins to get deeper and darker. You're down to somewhere between 10 and 15 meters worth of line of sight, depending upon the current location in the forest.
That's not exactly awesome.
Yeah,
Are we in Darkest Davakar? Is this a crossover?
Yeah. But you are in an area with, triple canopy and trees that are hundreds of years old, and nobody's cleared this forest out. So
That sounds fun. There's nothing like the darkness.
well, it's like, a dim green light, like maybe, lots of trees filtering the sunlight. All right. So you travel, and your wilderness guide here. Are you guys gonna hunt or anything? I know you still have several days worth of rations left.
Should probably never say no to an opportunity to hunt.
I agree with that. Probably
I
at least
also
take this
agree.
opportunity. Not that I could hunt, but I could, not make noise.
You could try to hunt.
I'll try and hunt.
Who else is gonna try to hunt? Anybody else got the hunting skill or speciality?
I mean, I've got hunting and fishing.
Well, I know you do.
Yeah, I mean, technically I do too.
It would be wrong if you didn't, as you are a ranger.
Can I try hunting and fishing if I don't have the skill?
You can, but you're gonna have a really low chance.
I have to roll into my wilderness, right?
Yeah.
All right, I got a 3 under a 4.
Okay.
Nice, dude.
I throw my
Managed-
sword. I throw my sword at a rabbit.
Yeah, I was gonna say you managed to accidentally step on a rabbit.
The rabbits, George.
Let's see what happens, because we have a whole entire rolling mechanic here.
I chase a deer down and stab it. I don't know.
So, how many of us are hunting?
3.
Yeah, I am. So 3.
And then I guess are the NPCs hunting?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Possibly. All right.
So that they're at least doing something, useful.
I rolled a 2.
You tried to one
Mine's
up me.
7. All right, hold on. I'll be right back. I gotta let the dog out.
Okay. He has to let his rat out. It's not a dog. It's a chihuahua. That doesn't qualify as a dog.
Is it a mean chihuahua?
No.
That's an oxymoron.
She's
I don't know,
generally
man.
pretty nice. She likes to get the loved on, but
I've met some mean ass chihuahuas, and I've met some really sweet ones.
she's in the sweet category. She's not a complete and utter raging, psychopath like 50% of chihuahuas.
One of my old buddies from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, had a. It wasn't him. It was actually his father. His father had a 3-legged rat terrier with one, like one lazy eye where it's like looking off to the side.
Right.
It was a 3-legged rat terrier with a fucked up eye, and it would catch and kill rabbits.
Wow. That's pretty talented for only having one eye and being 3-legged.
Well, it had 2 eyes. It's just one of the eyes was fucked up. But when we met this thing, the father had it. The father's like old and crabby, and he had it in the crook of his arm. And that dog did nothing but snarl and growl and like spit, almost like a cat, the whole time we were in that house. And the father's sitting there in the armchair with this dog going, "Shut up, shut up." And I was like, wow.
So effectively, the father was a rat catcher because he had a small but vicious dog.
True. Yeah, it was a Warhammer moment. Feels so genuine now in hindsight.
Like, oh, so that's what a small but vicious dog is. Let's see. That's why that's the greatest piece of starting equipment ever. You have a
I like
small
how
but
if you're
vicious.
gonna change the career, you have to acquire a small but vicious dog.
Yes.
Thought that was kind of awesome.
Which would be fun for the GM because, like, you can find small dogs, but they're not vicious. You have to find a vicious one.
Now, can you train it to be vicious? So
I guess in theory. I have got to find. What I'm looking for, and I don't remember what page it's on. All right, let's go to the online version of this because at least that has bookmarks. Okay. This one. Okay, so all of you guys in this particular area of the woods will get a +5 to your wilderness and hunting skill.
oh, I rolled a nat 4, and my modified skill is 20.
Nice. Right. Now let me get to where I figure out all these frickin' modifiers. +5. How long are you guys going to spend, and what kind of game are you hunting?
Most Stormlanders are trappers. They're probably hunting small game.
Stormlanders are trappers, but I want a challenge, so I'm looking for something big.
Okay, so you're going to hunt for separately from the other guys. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're going to try for something for small game, it's going to take a minimum of 4 hours for your day. Standard
All right,
game is going to take 6 hours, and big game will take 8. That's the minimum amount of time you can put in there.
Do you guys want to spend a whole day hunting?
Not particularly.
I'll just do small game.
Okay.
I don't want to spend all day.
7.
Just picking up rabbits and crushing them into my hands.
You got the best roll, right?
Me?
Yeah, he got the
No.
lowest natural score.
But you have the best skill, right?
Yeah, my modified skill is 20, and I rolled a 4.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to go with you because you have the best one. So with a +5, you were modified up to 20, and then small game gives you an extra +2. So that gets us to 22, and you rolled a 4, right?
Yep.
So that gives us a difference of 18. Okay. Okay. So we're in that range. So we get roll 3d10. Jordan, tell me what you get.
Oh, hang on. Find me a D10. Not that I have it
D10s
for me.
are a lie, and a myth perpetrated on us by the man.
All right, 3d10. I've got a 6, a 7, and a 9. That was a nice little progression there.
So 22. So you got a total of, you had a very successful hunt, got a total of 22 daily rations worth of meat. Which is the equivalent of bagging the equivalent of, 11 rabbits or a badger and a rabbit. You got 22 days worth of rations there.
Not too bad. Survived for a while.
Well, 22 food rations, yeah. So you got at least, what, 4 of you, so at least 5 meals out of it. Well, 5 of you,
That's
so
good.
4 meals. So that'll help you stay alive a little longer. So that takes up a good 4 hours of your day. So let's say you start, mid-morning, so about 8, so it's noon. You guys get done hunting. So you've got plenty of meat for the next couple days. And I'm assuming you guys continue west as that is left.
Mhm.
All right.
We have something for left. I don't understand.
Well, we have left and reverse left. We don't understand, north, south, east, west. Just left and reverse left. Okay, so you guys travel on for several more hours. The terrain that you're traveling through is rolling hills with the occasional rocky ridge. The forest is mostly pine, and again, these are thick trees, averaging from between, younger trees that are about 1 man in diameter at the base to older trees that, 3 broad-shouldered men could stand side by side and be as wide as the trunk. The canopy is thick. Occasionally you find clearings or breaks in the canopy for small streams or large rock faces. But generally speaking, the terrain is not too inimical to your travel, so you guys make a pretty good pace. After your hunting escapades, you guys make it another 8 to 10 miles to the west. Don't seem to find any end to the forest at all in this direction so far. And now the sun is going down. I'm assuming that you guys are going to start looking for camp.
Without a doubt. I feel like traveling at night is just, asking for shit. But I have no camping.
But we do have our camper, so if Aaron
We
wants
do.
to give me a camping
We
rule.
have our campy camper.
Yeah, let me get you guys the old camperoo. Hang on. No modifier?
Yeah, straight roll at this point.
7 out of, I'm sure it's high enough. Let me find it. 7 out of 15. So we're good.
Yeah, you're good. You managed to find yourselves a nice level, relatively level area that's above the general route that water would travel if it was going to rain. Not quite as well hidden as not as quite of a good camp spot as the one that was outside of the tomb, but you guys should sleep comfortably, and it won't, since he rolled low enough, cost against your days in the wilderness. So you guys can sit down. I'm assuming you're going to spend time cleaning your rabbits and smoking meat and eating
Yes,
fresh.
preparing.
That is a carve and butcher roll, right?
Yes.
So this I'm terrible at. I only have an 11.
It's not bad. I think you're the only one with carve and butcher.
Yeah, well, I rolled a nat 20, so.
Okay, then.
Well, you
You really butchered that one.
Yeah, it's not pretty. The first rabbit you basically make unusable, so you're going to lose that odd 2 days of rations out because you basically turn it into something that would only be good in a stew, and people probably have to pick bits of bone and fur out of that. And the rest of them, you just give up and decide to skin and stick on skewers made out of tree branches and cook over the fire whole instead of trying to butcher them.
Works for me.
Because you, the failed.
that's an understatement.
Yeah. You, the critically failed, but we'll go with that. All right. So as night falls and you guys have warmed, effectively smoked rabbit in your stomach, and you guys would have had no problem getting water because you passed a couple brooks on your way here. Not anything hard to ford, just little forest streams. And as the sun goes down, the wind dies off, and you begin to get one of those just slow, miserable drizzles that suck to be out in, but would barely make you have to use the incremental setting on your windshield wipers. So more annoying than anything else. So being under the trees, you occasionally get the large drops of water, but generally speaking, you're mostly dry, and you guys have got a fire going, so you're not going to have any chill problems or anything. Who's taking first watch?
Take
I will.
first. Well, then I'll take last.
All right. And the NPCs will join, some of you guys at some point.
Cool.
As opposed to just standing and staring majestically off into the distance.
I enjoy standing and staring majestically off into the distance.
Yes, well, not everybody has seen the gamers, The Darkness Rising, or the gamers. Okay, so your watches pass without any real issue. It drizzles throughout the entire night, but there's not any fog or anything. It's just a light, steady drizzle. So it's enough to, the weather isn't cold enough to make it more miserable than being consistently wet is miserable. And nobody sees anything of note in their watches. You see, a few pairs of eyes shine back at you in the night, just indicating that there's wildlife around looking towards your fire, but nothing comes close enough to bother you, and none of the eyes are high enough to be anything like a troll or anything you should be really worried about.
Well, that's good.
So morning comes, and what direction are we going today, Brain?
You ask, but you know.
I do.
We shall continue with left.
Because there is no other direction. Left is the only direction. Okay, so as you guys break camp and begin to move, the day opens with a light breeze, and you can see that there's the beginnings of a mist rising from the loam and fallen pine needles. And by the time you reach midday, it has grown into a thick fog. So you will want to travel close together, perhaps bind each other so that no one gets lost.
Okay. How close is close?
5 feet ish.
Works for me.
I hold their hands. So, guys, we don't want to get lost. We gotta link arms.
We will link arms and walk together. We must make sure that we don't leave any bodies lying about.
Following me. All right, so Charles should be on shortly. He's just parking in front of his place, so he's only 10 minutes later than I expected him. So, all right, so we've got a thick fog. And you guys would know, being Stormlanders into natives to Trudvang, you would know the all the myths that revolve around fog, and that people think that the gods walk in the fog, and that fog is dangerous because it brings the world of the dead and the world of the living closer. So in the fog, the dim hall is closer.
Well, isn't that a wonderful feeling?
Isn't it though? Make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. All right. So how are you guys treating this? Because you're going to be walking, or at least attempting to travel, in this uh, thick fog, unless, of course, you're going to stay in the spot you're in. But
Well, should probably move very, very gently so as not to awaken any of the gods that may or may not be making their way through.
yeah, let's not go with that.
I don't know. What do y'all think?
I'm with you.
I agree.
I mean, we've obviously got to keep moving, but probably don't want to gather the notice of anything if we can avoid it.
Yeah, let's stay away from that one. I mean, unless you want to fight a demon. I mean, I could bring a demon into this.
Wait, you can fight a demon?
You
Don't
could.
don't get too excited. It's kind of going to be game over soon.
I mean, don't bring your D&D understanding of demons into this game, because they are not the same. Okay. Let's see if Charles gets on before we get into this.
Well, that would kind of be nice, as I would prefer to have all players available.
It would be kind of awesome, but our first experience with combat in this game. All right, so are you still, I'm assuming, traveling what you think is left?
As
Yeah.
far as we're aware.
What we believe to be left.
It could be reverse left, but we never know. All right.
That is the problem. We don't know.
Don't know. So you travel slowly, for the fog makes your traveling time much slower. As you now really have to watch out for things like tree roots and gullies and all the other things that exist in the natural forest that would make travel difficult at best. And you notice that the forest is quieter than it had been. And you don't know if that's just because there aren't any animals around or if it's because the fog is muting the standard sounds of the forest.
They say that the gods are truly out, and we must be wary.
Joran, while munching on a squirrel, is going to say, "There's no animals because we hunted them all."
While munching on a dried squirrel out of his
Yep.
pack. Not even butchered, just dried.
Just try. Just he's always holding it by the tail, and it's got it's completely stiff with rigor mortis, and it has an expression of terror in its face, unskinned.
Well, at least now we know what that smell is, so we're better off.
I'm not sure if better off.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a matter of interpretation. Okay. So you've got pathfinding, right?
I do.
Make me a roll on that at -4 to your skill value.
Okay. Actually, it's funny? I don't have pathfinding specifically, but I have survival.
That'll work.
So 11 in survival, rolling against a 7. Come on, lucky dice. 8, failed by 1. Sorry.
Okay, so
Why did you guys bring me? It's terrible.
you, as is common for thick fog, lose all orientation while you're wandering.
Not heading left anymore.
You're not sure if you're going straight. You're not sure if you're walking circles, but you think you saw that rock before, but you can't be sure because it's just a silhouette in the fog. So what do you guys do? Are you going to keep wandering? Or are you going to sit down by something you can recognize? What are you doing?
I say we sit down and just wait.
Not opposed to that. I feel like it's going to be more problematic if we try to move.
All right. I need to bring my physical dice inside, even though I don't have anywhere to roll them. Somebody roll me a d6.
Hold, please. 4.
Okay. You are familiar enough with the ways of the woods that you think that this fog may burn off after noon, which is going to be, sometime within the next 4 hours. The fog should start to burn off, and you'll be able to see again, which would be helpful. So you guys are just going to sit and tend to your stuff and talk quietly and try not to attract notice, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay. Just a moment here. So as you guys are sitting there, you notice that the fog whirls and blows in the light mist, or in the light wind, sometimes thicker, sometimes thinner, and sometimes roiling like claws or something reaching. Like you see odd shapes in the fog, and you don't know if there's actually shapes or if your eyes are playing tricks on you. This is literally like pea soup, London, or fresh fog off of the ocean, sea of whitish gray that you can't really see through. Come on, Charles. This would be a great time to have our dim walker, because the guy who talks to the gods. This might be
Ask them what the hell they think they're doing.
Yeah. What's with this stupid weather? All right. So the first hour goes by without incident. Although, you see creepy things in the fog. And your second hour goes by. It's getting to be particularly creepy to see this sea of roiling mist and the utter lack of sound, it seems like, other than the occasional drip of water against the rock you have your backs to. In the third hour, everyone give me a what is that skill? It's going to be shadow walking, and then it's going to be the finding and listening skill.
Right. So nothing that I have.
I got a 1.
Okay.
I got a 19, and I was rolling against a 1.
I got a 3 against a 1.
Hey, Chris, this is something you're good at.
You sneaky fuck.
Except it's called exploring on your sheet, but. Did we lose Chris?
Didn't hear him drop off.
He's muted, so.
He did not realize he had hit mute. He had rolled 9 under 17.
Nice.
Shadow walking. And 13 under 19 for exploring.
So you hear the sound of things walking on pine needles.
Did I mention this?
Yes.
I feel like it's important.
Yeah, for you now hear the sound of things walking in the fog and the clatter of what sounds like bone.
Bone.
Bone?
Bone.
I draw my my battle axe very slowly.
All right.
I don't know what good a bow is going to do, but
Let's see. Okay. I need everybody to roll me initiative. So that's a D10, open roll 10 plus any initiative modifiers.
I got a -3.
Okay, then.
All right, I gotta find my initiative modifiers, but I rolled an
I'm
8.
guessing my initiative modifier is non-existent because I don't see a number.
Yeah, I mean, it should. Any bonuses from your dexterity would apply.
My dex is a +2.
And then if you were wearing equipment or using a weapon, it would modify it.
I have no weapons listed or equipment. I'm running around naked.
Oh, hang on. So I got a +1 dex, but I get a -1 initiative modifier for hard leather. Those are the only two things I see, so it looks like my 8 is just an 8.
Yeah, and your bow would modify it too.
Oh, hang on. 5. Yeah, so he's at a 5. Oh, you know what? I actually forgot I had a hand axe, but I'm still going to use my bow because I can't fight.
Well, you can do it. You're just not good at it without the bow. All right. So let's see. Do you have anything in your fighting, Chris?
No, the sheet you sent me didn't have anything on it.
Let's see. Skills.
I mean, I've got like armed fighting, bows and slings, one-handed weapons, but I don't actually have any listed.
Okay, so yeah, you're give yourself 2 daggers or hand axes. Since you're the wonderful world of the stabby guy,
Right.
and those are going to be just a 1d10 and an open roll on a 10. I think they are.
Okay.
Give me just a second. Let me grab physical books so that I can reference PDFs and physical books at the same time.
Teach us combat.
Yeah, as we've never been in combat.
Teach you combat, teach myself combat. I'll be back in just a sec. All right, I'm back. I had to walk a whole 6 feet.
I'm lost.
Okay. Game Master's Guide. Let me roll initiatives for my guys. They could very well suck. But they probably don't have the negative modifier that Mike does from using a heavy weapon and armor.
No armor factors in too.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm at a -7.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm a slow boy, but I can take those hits.
Okay. My dice roller was being stupid, so I had to mess with that because it was acting like I was playing White Wolf or something, and telling me successes and not what I actually rolled. Okay, so what comes walking out of the fog as the fog clears a little bit so that you have a little area where you can see without too much of an issue are two Sahele. We're going to call them skeletons because we speak English.
Skeleton.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how you pronounce that in Swedish. So
Bonin.
Hernish Fernie, Mernish Fernie in a bork. Let's see. I really wish that they had a thing on there on how to pronounce. That would be awesome.
Useful.
I
Yes.
actually put the Swedish word into Google Translate, and you could hit pronounce.
Yeah, if it's not just a one they made up to call it here, so I'll have to mess with that later. So Chris, your daggers, which in this one are called a Sia, are you can make up to 4 weapon attacks a round with them. Their initiative modifier -1.
Okay.
You're only going to want to use one at a time because you don't have ambidextrous yet, and if you don't buy into that, your penalty for using your offhand is -15. So,
All right. So my initiative is 7.
all right. And they have a protection value of 5 and a breach value of 5.
Okay.
Which comes in handy if you're pairing with them. And their damage is going to be 1d10, open roll 10.
Okay.
And since you're a thief, we're going to give you light armor. So we're going to give you leather armor, which is protection value 2, breach 20, and a heft of 2. So if you don't have armor bearer, that's going to give you some additional penalties to your speed and such.
I have armor bearer of 13.
Oh, but you're, yeah, level 2. Okay, so you won't get any penalty for this, other than it's going to take your movement modifier by -1 and your initiative modifier -1. So your 7 is 6.
Okay. My mobility is a 13 then.
Okay. And Mike, you said you were at like -4?
7.
-6.
6.
Okay.
-6. Because I have shields and armor and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, gotta love that.
And I rolled a 1 for my initiative, so. Yeah.
And I gotta roll initiative for Charles.
It's all just about having fun, right?
Yeah. But we've gotta,
Not die.
do this shit according to the rules, because rules. Which if this was Zweihander, I could do easy. Let's see. Wow. So he's going to use his bearded axe. What is that noise?
I have no idea.
That might be me. I'm rocking in my chair.
Okay. I was just curious what it was. Okay. Initiative modifier -4. So he's at 5. Okay. So skeletons walk out of the mist, and the mist clears enough that you guys are going to be able to see without any vision penalties.
Well, that's useful.
Because I don't want to track it right now. Let's see. So we've got 2 of these bastards, and out of our party, Chris goes first.
Holy shit. All right. Ah,
They are
exactly.
unarmored, and they are carrying a. They're each carrying 2 effectively long swords, so one-handed heavy weapons.
Right. Well, I am more the sneaky kind of guy, not the run up and stabby kind of guy. So I think I'm going to hold for the moment. See if I can't help out on the backside.
Okay. So our next person in the initiative order is Aaron.
So since I have a bow, I'm going to try and take aim at one of their heads.
Okay.
And I know I have to allocate combat points to dodging or attacking, right?
You can advocate them to attacks, parries, dodges.
So I've got I have 10 free and then 6 for bows and slings because I think you and I talked about this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do I'm gonna allocate all 16 to hitting one in the head.
Okay then.
Let's hope this rolls well.
There
10.
you go. Yep, that's a successful hit. Oh, hold on. Charles is calling again. Well, apparently Hangouts has chosen that Charles is the person it will hate today.
That happens.
Yeah, it picks somebody at random every time. So, okay.
Must
So
have
you hit,
somebody.
and your damage for your longbow.
So it's either 1d10 or 9 to 10, and I forget which one you use.
Oh no, it's 1d10, and the 9 to 10 means that you open roll or your die explodes on a 9 or 10.
Got it. All right, hang on. Oh, give me some good damage. 5, not great damage.
Not terrible damage. All right.
Might even say it's average damage.
This is average damage. Exactly average damage.
There we go.
Hi, it's a Charles.
Yes.
Charles
Finally.
doesn't lie.
Jesus Christ, we've been waiting for you to start the whole time. We were ready to finally start.
Oh,
Don't tease him like that. Jeez.
yeah. Normally I can take as good as I give, but I'm already stressed to the breaking point at this one. But I'll take it in good humor anyway. I deserve it.
We're just messing with you.
I'm
totally
gonna
cool
need
with it.
to. All you guys are gonna take fear points from these skeletons
Because they're so spooky.
because they're freaky. They're freaky dicky. But the roll was terrible, so you guys are only taking 1 fear point apiece. All right, so the one on the left has taken 5 points to the face.
To the face!
There's now a arrow sticking out of its eye socket.
That's how I always imagined it.
Well, because where are you going to go on a skeleton? I mean,
Yeah, your options are kind of limited there.
And it's nuts.
at least in this one, they're not like invulnerable to piercing damage. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
all right. So next in our initiative order, after Aaron, is Charles. I rolled
What's the
it.
scenario here?
Okay, so you guys left Rudvig's tomb and you traveled west for a day. You spent 4 hours traveling or hunting, and you got some pretty good rations. You got like 22 rations worth of meat from a bunch of rabbits. One rabbit was totally screwed up because Aaron, in the tip to butchering it, rolled a natural 20, and then the rest
Okay, I
of them.
thought you were going to say Chris tried to have sex with it. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I gave it a shot, man, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, you got to be you. I don't blame you. You got to
To be
you.
honest, Chris prefers chickens, not rabbits.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
But,
Well, his otherkin nature, I knew it would be okay.
Yeah. Chickens are closer to Lolly, so it that messes with his otherkinness.
Jesus Christ.
So,
Something terrible is going to happen to Jeff one day, and I'm not going to be.
but so you wandered for a full day after that, and then when you woke up the next day, you traveled for about an hour, but there was a mist rising from the ground when you woke up, and it developed into a thick fog. You traveled for another hour, and then Aaron was pretty sure you guys had seen that rock before in this fog that's like pea soup thick. So you all decided to sit down at the rock and wait for the fog to clear rather than wander randomly and perhaps fall in a ravine or something.
Yes, that's a good course of action. Yeah.
And then after your third hour of sitting and waiting for the fog to clear, Chris's character heard the sound of somebody walking on the pine needles and stuff of the forest floor, and heard the sounds of bones clacking together, and these two Sahali or skeletons came walking out of the fog into the area where you're sitting, and now we're in combat.
Gotcha. Okay. Does anybody have a blunt weapon nearby, or is there a big enough log or something? Because I'm watching arrows just go through the ribs of this thing, apparently.
Well, he stuck it in his skull, and it took damage.
Oh,
but
good shot.
Just FYI for your guys' point of view, that type of weapon doesn't make any difference for skeletons in this game. So,
saying as a point of role playing, I would probably think it would, regardless, even if it didn't, because there's not much to stab or cut on a skeleton. Not a lot of meat there. So, all right, but I mean, if I have the option, then I'll just try and sling a rock at it if possible.
yeah, well, they're going to be in melee here shortly, so you can either sling a rock or you can go after one with your battle axe or whatever weapon you want to use.
I'll probably use this sling at the moment, just to try and whack it with a rock and see how that goes. Because
all right. So let's see.
Okay, that looked a 7.
You don't really have ranged weapon skill, Charles, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I'm just going with my roll.
Okay. Well,
I mean, if you want to negative that somehow, that's fine too. My roll is a 7.
Yeah, because that would be what you'd try to roll under, because you'd have to devote all of your free to get to that 7. You'd have to devote all of your free combat points from 7 or from fighting. So that'd give you an 8, so you'd actually hit. So a sling is a one-handed light weapon, so it's 1d10 open roll on a 10. So roll me a d10.
9. I'll take that.
Nice. You just narrowly missed a open roll, which would have been awesome.
Hey, I'm happy with the 9 the way I roll. Are you kidding?
Which,
I'm
by the way,
with the 9.
if you'd used your bearded axe, you would have open rolled and got to roll another d10 for damage.
Shit, you're right. Yeah.
So are you?
We had that. Okay.
Yeah. Are you slinging at the one with the arrow sticking out of its skull, or are you slinging at the other one?
No, I'm going to sling at the other one. I'm going to try. Nobody's called to focus fire on anything yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to sling at the other one.
Well, your rock clacks into its sternum and makes a loud cracking sound, and you see some of the ribs snap, and the sternum's kind of floating more freely, where it's popped free from the ribs on the edge there.
Huzzah,
all right. So next is Chris went, Aaron went, and believe it or not, they get to go.
They get a turn?
Yeah, they get a turn before you because they're just not quite as negative as you.
I would like to make it clear that I'd be standing in front of my allies currently.
Yeah, because Mike is at a -6 initiative. So, let's see. So we've got sailors here, and they're going to attack you with their long swords. So one's going to attack you, and then the other one's going to go for Charles, just because like it smells the holy on him, or the touch of the dim hall. Let's see. So we're going to go. All right, so it's going to make 2 attacks on you, Mike, and D20 first attack is a 13, which misses.
Aha!
And the second attack is a 12, which also misses. And then the one on Charles is going to make an attack, which is a 5, so that hits. You can attempt to parry if you want to, but you only have your armed action points.
Yeah, I don't think I parry at that.
Okay. So he hits you. His second attack missed. And he's got a long sword, so... Ouch. He hits you for 9 points of damage. But remember, you've got the protection value of your armor, soaks the first like 4 of it, I think. What are you wearing, armor-wise? Okay, so you can wear armor of up to Heft 4 without extra penalties and minus.
Yeah, I don't have very good armor. I think I just have if I recall correctly, I'm trying to bring the book up now. If I recall correctly, it's just basically a very light armor, very light leather armor, because we didn't have the finances to, deck out like a work crew or something.
I was trying to see if it gave you default on there, but I'm not finding a protection value.
No, so. I just had like very light armor, very light. I think I managed to skim something really light, and that was about it. And I know it wasn't anything significant. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, Heft 4 would have gotten you to metal reinforced leather, but that would have cost you 30 silver.
No, I didn't have that.
Did you get up to hardened leather?
No, I didn't. Hardened leather is about right where I got.
Okay, so that would give you a protection value of 3. So that would soak 3 points of damage, so you would take 6 body points.
Yep.
And the breach value of your hardened leather would drop down to 29.
Okay.
And for those of you who, like me, are new to combat in this game, your armor soaks damage. So your protection value is how much damage your armor soaks. Anytime you take more damage than that, you take the rest of it, and your breach value of your armor is damaged by 1 point. And that when that breach value drops a total of 10 points, your protection value drops by 1. So, like if you have hardened leather armor, you have a protection value of 3 and a breach value of 30. When it gets to 20, your protection value becomes 2. So, track that. On your weapons, when your breach values get to 0, it's destroyed effectively. And your protection value on your weapon will drop 2, and that comes into play when you parry. Which is why you don't want to parry with your bow. Let's see. So that brings them to a close here. So we're back to the top of the round, and our first and fastest person is
Wait,
Chris.
does Michael get to go?
Oh yeah, Michael. Sorry, you're so far back in the back. I thought we'd have to start the round over. Yes, Mike with his -6 can now go.
Mike is gonna say, "Bonesaw is ready," and I'm gonna slam him with my axe.
Bonesaw is ready.
The good thing I put 16 points in that because I rolled a 16.
Oh
Nice.
yeah!
Hit him. I hit.
Snap into the enemy.
I hit a 10. I explode.
Okay, roll again.
I hit an 8. I explode.
He blew up real
your
good.
weapon was specialized, was increased. I forgot.
And then a 3, so that's 18. It's 21 damage.
21 damage. And which one were you going for?
The one that's attacking me.
The one that's attacking you. So that's the skeleton with the arrow sticking out of its eye.
Yeah.
So you hit it with this tremendous blow, and you basically take the left side of its rib cage off, including the arm. It seems not to care, though, and is still going to try to attack you the next round with its one good arm that has its sword in it.
Let me double check. I still have some extra points real quick. Let me see what I can do.
You can move, or you could save those to parry.
It's the end of the round, right?
Mm-hmm.
So don't the points reset at the beginning of the next round?
They do. So if you've got some points left, you could theoretically make another attack at a much lower.
I can try for one at 6. That'll be my parry point. Or at 4. That's gonna miss.
Okay. All right. So back to the top of the round, and Chris, one of these skeletons is looking pretty badly beat up, and the other one, his rib cage is a little loose, but he's still coming.
Go get him, Chris.
We'll attack the one that's looking pretty bad, I suppose. You said mine's a straight D10 roll.
No, well, you're attacking with your light one-handed weapon, so your dagger.
Right.
So you actually have for. Oh wait, that's not you. There we go. One-handed light weapons. You got a total of 16 combat points for it, I think.
Yeah. I believe so. So I will.
So
Go
you can either
ahead.
make one attack at 16, or you can make one at 12 and one at 4, or you can make one at 12 and save 4 for parrying.
I think I'm going to make one at 16 so that I can smack the hell out of it.
Okay.
And I rolled an 8.
So you hit.
Awesome.
And this one does not have that arm anymore, so go ahead. Roll your damage.
What's the damage on these?
It's a D10 and it explodes on a 10.
Oh. So 6.
All right. And that happens to be just enough that when Chris swings, he manages to sever the skull from its shoulders and it falls down in a pile of bones. And the first skeleton is gone.
Well, I feel like this is a good thing.
All right. And Aaron, you will be able to pluck your arrow out of its skull. So
nice.
All right. It is now your turn, Aaron.
All right. So theater of mind, I'm not terribly good at sometimes. Do we have any? We have one more standing, right?
One more standing, yeah.
Correct.
All right. 16 points. I'm going to shoot at that guy.
Okay.
15. Wow. Barely made it.
That hits, and he cannot evade, so go for it.
Damage, I get a 1.
And
Sorry.
you bounce your arrow off of its cheekbone, and it goes flying off into the fog, but it does leave a chink in the side of his skull.
Yeah, you see that, guys? Jordan did that.
I bounced the arrow off.
That prompts a question, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, that prompts a question. With the appearance of these creatures, has the fog subsided at all or gotten worse, or does it seem as though their presence has affected it in any way, shape, or form?
It seems like they found you at the time that, the wind blew the area that you were in a little clearer than the rest of it. But it's still, pea soup fog, although it does appear to be thinning in general, but it hasn't burnt off yet. So,
well, that's what I'm. Yeah, okay. I was basically just asking if the two seem to be connected in any way.
I have a quick question.
There's not.
Well, you would know that being a dim walker, you would definitely know that it's believed that the gods walk in the fog, and that the fog, that in thick fog's the barrier between the dim hall, the land of the dead, and the land of the living is weakened, so it's not uncommon for there to be undead wandering in a fog.
Okay. All right. So there is a correlation, just not a shocking one. Okay.
Right.
Got it. Thank you. I believe Mike had a question next. Was that who had a question? Somebody else had a question.
Our combat points equal our skill value,
right? Your combat points, your fighting skill is equal as your base combat points, and then you get 2 combat points for each rank you have in a weapon, and then there's a couple other skills that give you extra combat points. Armed fighting gives you combat points for fighting with weapons, that sort of thing.
So if my armed fighting skill is 5, then what's my armed fighting points? Is it just 5 or is it 15?
No, it's you get 10 from your fighting, because your fighting is 10, right?
Yeah.
It weirds me out that the physical player's handbook is so much thinner than the PDF. But then again, in the physical books, Vintner Weavers and Dimwalkers are two different books. Okay, so base fighting gives you combat points equal to your skill rank. Armed fighting doesn't. So you're using what, two-handed heavy weapons, right?
One-handed heavy.
One-handed heavy. So each rank you have in your one-handed heavy gives you 2.
Okay.
So you have, if you've got 3 in that, that would give you your 16 total. If you have 5 in that, you've got 10 for your one-handed heavy.
So if I have 5, I have 10 total heavy.
Yeah, for just that you can use with your generic. If you have battle experience, you get 1 additional combat point per level. If you had combat actions, it gives you 2 points per level, but these can be used only for actions related to a person's role in combat, such as drawing weapons, standing up, or performing combat movement. Combat reaction gives you initiative bonuses. And fighter gives you +2 combat points per level to distribute on their attacks and parries during a combat round.
Okay,
All right.
so I just kind of I did this all by myself, so I kind of fucked it.
It happens, dude. It's new to all of us. I have to keep looking at it. I don't have it memorized yet.
Okay, I have more points than I thought. But we're good.
What? All right. Well, we've got a ways in the round before we get to you. So, all right. So after Chris, it's you again, Charles.
Okay, there's still this one fella standing. So now that I see axes work well against this thing, as Mike's demonstrated, I'm going to take a swing at him with that.
Okay.
Apparently, these things need and have flesh for us to cut them. And I will swing the best I can. Holy crap, I'll take that. 4.
What did you roll?
A 4.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And it's a D. Is this one a D10 that explodes as well?
Yeah, and I think he improved your axe too, so it's
did.
8 to 10. Yeah.
Ah, shit. But only for 3.
For 3? Okay. 1 die is figured out. You need to, what you needed to roll. Let's see. All right, he's still standing up, and he's looking kind of beat up. So after Charles, it's him. So he's going to try to attack you again, Charles.
I was going to say I should have the ability to parry because I really didn't do much beyond swinging the axe at him.
If you've got combat points left, yeah.
Yeah.
Because remember, combat points are your currency for action. So
yeah, just like Zweihander. Yeah.
Yeah, but they set also your difficulty that you're trying to roll under. So the number of combat points sets what you have to roll under to hit, or what you have to roll under to successfully parry.
Right.
Okay.
Hopefully he'll miss, and I won't have to worry about it.
We will see. So first attack, he misses. And second attack, that's a 6, so he hits.
Okay. To parry.
So whatever combat points you didn't put into your attack, you can put into parrying.
Gotcha. Well, I roll for parrying, though, don't I?
Yes, but like with your attacks, it's how many combat points you put into it is what you
Right,
your skill
exactly.
value,
Well,
yeah.
I didn't even think to declare to put any in, but I think a 2 should still do it.
Yeah, if you have at least 2 free combat points you didn't use on your
Yeah.
attack, yeah. So you managed to
Yeah,
parry it,
exactly. So
but let
yeah,
me
2.
roll his
That makes-
damage to see what your axe takes. All right. So he did a whole 5 points of damage, and you're using a bearded axe, which is basically a battle axe. So forgive me while I take another moment to stare at a 2-page spread of art. Because the art in this game, these game books, is amazing.
yeah, seriously.
Equipment. I didn't turn far enough.
One of the impressive things is it manages to have its own aesthetic in a glutted market.
Yeah, I mean the art definitely sets the step there.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like quote unquote D&D or every other or a generic fantasy game. I absolutely give it that. The art really sets an excellent tone.
Yeah. Okay, so your axe doesn't take any damage because it's got a protection value of 7, so we don't have to worry about its breach value coming down. It just takes it. So we're good there.
My axe scoffs at your shoddily crafted longsword.
So he's a dead guy. I mean, come on. All right. So after them is now Mike.
Oh my God, Mike gets to go.
Mike is going to say Bonesaw is still ready. And I'm going to land another... wow, I have a lot of points because did he attack me?
It attacked Charles.
No.
Oh, is one of them dead? I missed
One
that.
of them is dead. Yes.
Wow, I'm kind of zoning out. I'm going to charge that guy.
Aaron,
The guy.
one.
How far away is he from me?
You basically just have to turn. I mean, you guys were all sitting around a rock, so it's basically like 2 dudes walking up and attacking the 2 dudes that were close enough.
For 20 points, we're going to try and hit this guy. I roll a nat 1.
Okay.
Nice.
Then.
Nice waste of points. It's going to be an 8, so 1 more. And a 10, and a 1.
So that's a total of 19 plus your strength.
Plus 4.
So yeah,
23.
it shatters into separate bones and a shattered rib cage and spine and is dead.
I still have combat points left over, so I hacked the bones a few times.
Okay.
I'm going to move away from the splinters that are flying up.
I don't want to randomly get a bone splinter.
Yeah. And I'm not supposed to get shards of bone in my eye. My doctor said.
It's bad. All right. So Charles, I think, is the only one that took damage, and he took, what, 6 points?
6.
Yeah.
I do give Charles a hug. Make sure he's okay.
Thank you.
Smelly half-troll hugs.
I'm not smelly. I bathe. Like once a month.
In blood.
Bathing in your own spit doesn't count as bathing.
I'm like a cat.
He bathes like
I'm like a
I was
cat.
just gonna say he bathes like a cat. He licks himself constantly.
Okay, so you didn't take enough damage to go down a damage level, so you don't have any penalties for that.
I take laudanum. Oh, sorry, wrong game.
Hey, I can't help it that for the next couple days in game, you guys are going to be taking laudanum because you're all got your ass kicked.
Well, that's why I was late to this game. I thought my character was dead, and then I checked and realized I wasn't. So,
you're not allowed to be passive aggressive too.
Gotcha.
All right.
All right.
So,
I'll try and patch myself up to the best of my ability. Actually, wait. I have healing magic I can utilize at this point. You said it's been a while since we left the.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have rested 2 days in a row, so
yeah.
I mean, got full full divinity points.
Yeah. Well, in that case, well, my computer just locked up. This is a clusterfuck and a half. All right, this whole thing. All right. I'm going to try and use divinity points and heal myself then.
Okay, so you're going to want to look at Warmth of Sunba, I think you're going for. Because healing just increases your healing rate per day. And Chris has managed to heal thanks to you from his falling in the pit of spears.
Nice.
Yes, thankfully.
You're welcome.
Did I miss anything?
Pull out the second thickest book, the Dimwalker's book.
Yeah, sadly, I can't look. Everything just froze up on me. I'm waiting to see if it unfreezes.
Hopefully. So, yeah, you're going to want to use Healing Glow. And the base, it gives you a modifier of -4 to your roll, costs you 4 divinity points. And it heals 1 body point and stops any bleeding. And for 2 extra divinity points, you can heal +1 body point. So if you wanted to heal all 6 at once,
yeah,
it would cost you 14 divinity points.
Yep, I'll spend them.
Okay. And
But his furry love will help him, right?
No. No furry
What
love.
is that?
He doesn't want your furry aids. Let's see. And that's where I get my 1 downvote from the guy listening to this. It's a furry.
Chris, tell your friend to stop downvoting Jeff.
What can I say? Downvoting Jeff is too much fun.
That is a hobby of yours. I do know that. Yeah, I'm just going to spend. I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to spend the divinity points.
So skill value 10, 14.
We still have pea soup, right?
Yes,
so
you did say the fog was still significantly thick. Yes.
I think you're going to have a skill value of 14 minus force of 10, but let me double check my calculations on that. Okay, so you're going to get so that's for blood gifting. So yeah, you're going to have 14 for a skill value to roll under. So with a -4 for the second level spell, you got a 50-50 to cast it successfully.
Okay. And just like all the others, the roll low is good?
Yes, you want to roll under 10.
Okay. And what happened before I throw this? What happens if I fail? Do I upset the deities?
Nothing unless you crit fail. So.
Okay. All right. Well, since it's frozen, I will have to use my phone dice roller here. That's what I'm speaking to you via.
Yeah.
9 will do it, right?
9 will do it.
Okay, I'll take that. That's fine. I won't push my luck any further.
All right, so that gets you your 6 health points back.
Nobody tell my luck that rolling low is good in this game.
It figures out eventually because it caught up with Jared. So
yeah. But fortunately, the Trudvang games are only every other week, and they're shorter than our Zweihander game. So I'm hoping it'll take longer for mine to figure it out.
Right.
I'm hoping at any rate. So far, so good. Fingers crossed.
You haven't had to flip the table or anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only downside is my damage is going to be shit too, which it was. But I'm willing to take that for at least being more effectual overall.
All right, so you guys wait out the last hour for the fog to officially clear. It's a little bit after noon, and I'm assuming that you're going to continue west because west is left.
Yes.
Of course.
Unless we go alternate left.
Reverse left, yeah.
Yeah, reverse left. Excuse me. That's it.
All right.
Reverse left.
So you travel for the rest of the day and get to an area where the woods seems a little thinner. It's still not thin enough that you can really see the sky, but it's not oppressively dark. And you can tell that evening is coming, and I need our camping guy to make me a roll again.
Not me.
Sorry, no, that's me.
Yeah, that's you.
Hang on 1 second. 9 out of an 15 unmodified, so we got it.
All right, so you guys find a good place to camp, and he manages to make a comfortable enough camp that you don't suffer from being in the wilderness again. That's 2 more days of rations out of your food so far, but that's at least a day of that was sucked up in what you hunted for. So you're not into those like 2 weeks of rations you have left from the job you took when you were supposed to come back with the carts. Let's see. So are we doing, who's doing first and second and third watches again?
I'll take final.
You'll do final? All right. So the night passes. It is a fairly comfortable, warm night, probably in the middle 60s. There's still a light breeze. Your fire crackles. You see, occasionally something that's probably an owl up in the trees, but other than that, you just hear the sounds of small animals. No real encounters or anything, and you manage to get a good night's sleep. Although you are surrounded by, the shadows of giant trees, and the land around you within the fire is green under the firelight, but you don't seem any closer to civilization or out of the woods than you did 6 days ago.
Gotcha.
Oh, some bitch.
All right. So you wake in the morning and have your morning meal, and I'm assuming that, again, we are traveling left or what, west?
Yes, we are continuing
Sure.
west.
So you guys think that based on the size of the woods where you guys would have wandered into it, you should have at least found your way out of the wood by now, but it's still woods all around. You travel for 4 or 5 hours when you reach an area of the woods where something feels wrong. The landscape feels cool and cold. The forest is covered in frost. Small, delicate icicles hang from the frost-white branches of the pines. They are already melting at a slow pace. The crystal clear water drops to find their way to the ground below. 2 small furred trolls lie on the frozen ground. A small distance away in the forest, a large pig lies with a spear in its body. The forest seems torn up. The large trees have been snapped as if they were twigs. A patch of frost that covers both forest and ground makes its way to an ice-covered path deeper in the forest.
That's not at all ominous as hell.
How many trolls are dead around us? You said I did hear you clearly say they were dead trolls.
Yeah, there's 2 dead trolls lying on the ground.
Okay, 2. I didn't hear the number.
Yeah, they're about half the size of a human, so they're roughly goblin-sized or so.
Okay. Does it look like a hunting trip got surprised? Because you said there's a spear in the boar.
Yeah, there's a large pig, and by large, this is a boar roughly the size of a cow.
Wow.
With a spear in its side. It's dead, and there's the two dead trolls lying on the frosty ground.
Okay. I'm going to start walking the perimeter. Is this a clearing of some sort?
As clear as it gets in this woods. So it's kind of an open
I'll
area.
walk whatever resembles whatever is closest to a perimeter. I'll walk it.
Yeah, and like I said, the forest seems torn up here, and large trees have been snapped as if they were twigs. In the area where the patch of frost lies. And it's not just on the ground, it covers the trees in the ground as well. So the area is quiet, save for the dripping as the icicles on the trees melt.
Still, this is, as our compatriot said, rather foreboding.
Foreboding, ominous, unpleasant. I think we should leave.
I have no argument with that, but
I'm not saying that I'm scared or anything. I'm just saying I don't like this.
So you're scared.
Again.
Oh no, he's not saying it. He didn't say he wasn't. He just said he's not saying it.
So
I'm saying I'm scared.
Is anyone gonna have a look at the bodies of the trolls or the bodies of the pigs?
Well, I was hoping somebody would when I walk the perimeter to see if
we
killed them.
We
is
might
still
as well
here.
check it out to see what killed them because
unless somebody else wants to walk the perimeter and I'll check. I didn't care which.
All right. So as you check out the trolls, you realize that one of them does not have a spear, and the other one has a spear laying near to it. When you roll them over, you realize that they have both been gored by the sizable tusks of the dead boar.
Okay.
Each one is wearing a ring on its left forefinger.
I take the ring.
Okay. I don't know that the rings will fit you, but they are rings.
For the trolls, how are they too small for me?
They are forest trolls. They are roughly half the size of a human.
Oh, okay. I put it on my little toe. It's a little toe ring.
Little toe ring.
It feels strangely cold, but nothing else.
Oh. Wait, does it look good at least?
It looks like you put a ring meant for a finger on your toe.
I'll take it off, kind of sadly.
These rings aren't particularly blingy. They're like made out of iron, and they feel colder to the touch than they should.
I'll put it in my pocket.
Yeah, let's keep those in a bag. If I have a bag.
Well, if he's the only one touching them, and he's literally probably as smart as that tree over there, he's probably just putting them in the rock bag, and it doesn't occur to him that they're colder than normal.
Oh, me? I'm not dumb. I have a +1 intelligence.
Oh, you have a +1 intelligence. Well, then you would notice that they were colder than they should be, even with the fact that they were laying on the frosty ground.
Yeah, I'll throw them in my bag. Do they have anything else of notice on them? Of note?
They've got some runes carved in them, but you don't know what they say because I don't think you're literate. So
I got the wrong character to do that.
I am barely literate.
Yeah, you don't recognize it as anything that you can read.
It's not Bashimo?
It's not Bashimo.
Okay. Hey, do you guys know anything about these runes over here?
I'll take a look. I'm literate.
Oh, I'm literate.
I'm not.
I just couldn't read them.
What languages do you read?
Oh, well, I can't check. Never mind. Let's say I can't because my computer froze. I'm still waiting.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you would read Vrock. So which is the native language to this place.
To my people?
So, yeah.
Oh.
Well, just because you can read doesn't mean you can automatically read Brock. You got to buy it in each language, So.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, it looks like it's some sort of version of Brockish runes, but it looks like it's might be a primitive or older form. You can't really read it.
I'll look over at the our troll. It seems to be of Rockish origin, or it seems to share an origin with Rockish, but I can't make it out. Perhaps this is some ancient relative, distant ancestor.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what all of you guys are going to get, especially since we don't have a Vintner Weaver. So nobody reads magic.
Kaji stole nothing.
Regardless, I'll start pulling the bodies together if people are done investigating them.
Yeah. So you got the big pig. Looks like it was from Yoren's point of view. Looks like it was probably killed maybe a day ago. No more than a day.
But he's trying to eat it.
Just letting him know that it's a fairly recent scene. And the patch of frost does continue off into the forest. And it seems like there are broken trees along the patch as it continues off into the forest. So
something came through here and caused a mite bit of damage.
It seems though the trolls were slain by the boar.
Indeed.
So whatever came through here is not necessarily related. At least as I see the situation.
It certainly, if it was something separate that came through and tore up the forest, it certainly didn't kill anything here.
What are the chances that it's a flying monkey?
None.
Well, there goes my hopes.
Absolute zero.
It's flying monkeys are the only thing you care about. Yeah. All right.
Forget about my other kid, man.
Yeah. What are you guys going to do?
All right, I'm going to try and have some sort of burial ceremony for these guys. Nothing ostentatious, just basic, respectful burial practice, whatever it was fitting.
Jordan's gonna fetch a fresh squirrel off his belt.
Well, you guys can get a pyre going for the bodies pretty easy, and if you wanted to make the effort, the ground here isn't frozen, so you could dig a shallow pit pretty easy.
I'm not going to use the firewood for a pyre. I'm just going to bury them. Just whatever's bare minimum.
I will help some respect so that we're not here in case whatever did freeze the ground like that comes back. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a big fan of the cold, and I'm against freezing.
Fair point. I'll dig quickly.
Well, the area
I'm not
around
trying to
here,
have some huge ceremony. Just whatever's respectful enough for these creatures, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you notice that in the time it takes you to dig the shallow pit, that most of the frost in the immediate area has melted.
A promising sign. I'll look at the fellow digging next to me. I assume that's you, Chris.
Yeah, that's a good
promising
sign. I would agree.
Once we finish, I'll say a quick prayer and move on.
All right. So I'm assuming that we are going to continue into the woods. Nobody's for following the patch of frost.
To be honest, the patch of frost might lead us in a good direction to another answer.
I kind of want to follow the patch of frost too.
It does seem to be disappearing quickly. The woods will always be there.
And I can stab it.
Let's move on.
I'm gonna throw in my lot with you, Frost pursuers.
Okay.
All
So
right,
you
well,
guys,
we will, for this time being, forgo.
Yeah.
all right. So
Mm.
you follow the patch of frost, and you notice that the trail of broken trees seems to follow the patch of frost, and that the as you follow the frost, it seems to get thicker, as if it was more recently frosted. You follow it for what seems to be about 3 hours when you come to something on page 36 when I was on page 25. Let's see. There we go.
What do we do when we face page 36?
You come upon a magnificent but completely unexpected sight that meets your eyes in the thick forest. A huge mountain of ice rises with frost frostwhite and with frostwhite and vertical walls, forcing away the trees around. An entrance that seems to have been built for a large creature is carved into the icy mountain, and by large I mean something really big, like tens of feet tall.
Tens of feet tall.
The huge opening is surrounded by 6 ice pillars that slowly melt from the somewhat warmer air outside.
So it has its own ice pillars.
Yes, there are 6 pillars coming out from the opening, and it's basically a really big hole in an ice mountain in the forest.
So Elsa's here.
Let's see. I can show you guys what you're seeing here. If I type correctly, I can. So the entrance here is roughly about 25 meters across, well, about 15 meters across, and pretty tall in and of itself. And let me get my stuff down here so I can actually screen share for you. So, can you guys see that picture right there?
No.
Okay. There we go. Okay. We're going to Inception for a second.
Woo.
There we go. You see this picture here?
God Emperor.
Yes. But the other picture with the 6 pillars and the opening and the...
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what you see. This is about 5 meters. This is about 5 meters, and this opening here is about 5 meters across. So roughly a 15-foot opening and a much larger chamber behind it.
So I have this feeling that if ever there were going to be a question or a secret, it would be this direction.
I'll chuckle at that. Again, agreed.
Okay, so we're going in there, right?
Oh, of course we are.
Okay.
No, we're just believing that it's there, and we're going to just go ahead and ignore the fact that that's what we need to get out.
Okay, so
Who's our quietest, most stealthy individual?
that would be Chris.
That would be me.
So a giant outdoor space opens up behind the 6 pillars. By the opposite wall, there is a hallway that is broad enough for 10 big men to stand side by side without wrestling for space. The walls are made of the whitest snow, and from the ceiling, transparent icicles hang more than 20 meters above.
Hmm.
They look like they're going to fall.
No?
We're good. Just making sure I don't have to worry about, dodging icicles.
Fair question. Care to lead the way?
Yeah, you could stop giving me ideas, but...
Yeah, I'll try to stealthily make my way in there and just make sure it's safe to bring everybody behind me.
Okay, and that, I think, is going to be... shadow walking. Yeah, it'll be shadowing walk in shadows on your sheet, provided, of course, it's not in Swedish.
Yeah, I rolled 14 under 17.
Okay, so you managed to not make any great amounts of noise. Once you walk in there doesn't appear to be anything in this vestibule other than snow and ice, but in the far corner to your left is a pile of furs.
Like furs to wear, or like fur of a creature?
Like several skinned creatures' fur piled up in a corner.
So I motion that they can.
The answer you didn't want, Chris.
Yeah, I know.
The answer you didn't want, Chris.
So I motion for them to follow but be quiet, and then point that out.
I'll follow as silently as possible, but that's not. That's not going to be much.
That's not really your trick. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I got you. You just mean don't be an asshole about it.
I look at my jangly scale mail armor and look back at you and shake my head no.
Oddly enough, the first thing we hear is the squirrels, the frozen squirrels knocking together.
You hear the sound of crushing squirrel skull as, Yorin chews the head off of a dried squirrel.
Exactly.
And he's got like fur and some sort of viscera falling out of his mouth, and everybody looks at him and he's like, what? Munching around the squirrel.
He's got squirrel teeth stuck in his teeth. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Squirrel teeth stuck in his teeth. That's impressive.
We heard you like teeth, so we put teeth on your teeth. All right, so where are we going? Hallway, or are we investigating the furs? What are we doing?
I'm gonna.
You know what? Why don't we let?
Why don't we want to know what kind of furs?
Yeah, I was gonna say, why don't we let Squirrely Dan look through the furs, because he'd have a better idea of what they are anyway. Plus, he's not going to be very quiet. What's that?
I said you are right there.
Yeah. Plus, he's not going to be very quiet anyway. So why don't we let him do that? We'll move ahead a little bit.
Sounds fair.
Not so much so that he's stuck way in the back, or we're too far ahead for him to catch up. Just let's just keep things progressing.
When you go to look at the furs, without even moving any of them, you can tell that they're the kind of furs somebody would probably want to sleep in or sleep with in an environment as cold as this ice castle cave mountain would be.
So how is the cold affecting us? I mean, should we perhaps bundle up in these furs to move further deeper in?
Great question.
It's not cold enough that you think you're going to have a big issue. It's kind of like
Maybe we need a light jacket.
Yeah, it'd be more like walking into a meat locker rather than like a walk-in freezer. It's chilly, but there's not any wind or anything to make it worse, so you're probably okay.
Yeah.
Well, if the wind suddenly picks up, we're going to be in for a shitstorm.
A snowstorm, more like it.
A frozen shitstorm. It'll be
Oh
shale.
no, the worst kind.
Instead of hail, it'll be shale.
Gentlemen, I strongly suggest you do not shart.
Quick, get it off before it defrosts.
Freezing your ass cheeks together.
That's something I didn't need to think about.
This is what happens when you spend time around the Jeff. You think of terrible things like this.
This is what happens when you
Nature's
play
pocket.
when you play any game by Robert J. Schwab.
Oh yes.
Let's see.
It's a storm of penises coming at you.
And it's a spell that makes you violently bloody shit yourself to death.
Yes.
Or a spell known as hateful defecation, because, well, who doesn't like a spell named hateful defecation?
It was a great spell.
All right. So, are we going in this hallway here? And are we going quiet? Are we going loud? What are we doing?
We are going like I am a goddamn ninja. That's how we're going.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what you want from me.
I want your soul.
I will attempt to be sneaky.
How about I
Okay.
check out and make sure he can come up behind me?
Wow, wish that was the first time you said that, Chris.
You're just jealous, Charles, because I didn't offer you.
Oh, it's true.
So, I'm assuming that since you're the quiet one, Chris, you're going to go in first.
Yes.
Okay. So, roll me a stealthy check.
12 under a 17.
Okay. So you manage to be quiet, and you notice that when you walk in this hallway, on the north side of the hallway, there is a set of double doors, and these doors are made out of solid ice, and you can kind of see through them. Looking through the doors, you can see that there's the soft glow of firelight, and you can see forms, shapes about half the size of a human, moving around in there, and you can hear some noise of conversations in what's probably the troll tongue.
How many individual shapes do I see moving?
It's hard to tell because you're basically looking through like a frosted door, but it's a good 5 feet before you even see through the hallway that leads into the room. So you've got a very limited perspective through a heavily frosted glass, effectively.
Okay.
You can tell there are more than two, but you can't tell.
There are more than two.
Well, I just had a flash to gully dwarves all of a sudden.
So I head back towards to the group, and I tell them what I've seen and that there's probably some trolls in here. Or at least that's my current working theory.
Mm.
You're assuming several of them based on the amount of noise, but if you were trying to do it by sight, it's hard to judge.
Yeah,
by,
I'm telling them there's several, but I don't know. Maybe 5, 10. I explained the situation with the frosted glass or frosted ice, door, and that not entirely certain.
Right.
As they say, you know as much as I do.
Old trolls are my friend.
Well, perhaps we could just send you in on your own.
That could work.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't being snide. I thought maybe you just could, hey, I was just sort of surreptitiously investigate. I mean, we can stand certainly within earshot. So
yeah, I mean, if you need us, we can rush in there. But
yeah, that's exactly.
If you think you can, deal with them without causing any kind of a scene or a potential, fight, I'm good with that. I don't really.
I'm good with that too. So I'll look at you very honest, very genuinely, I guess, and say, so are you up for it?
How about you guys hide behind the pillars, and I call them out here?
Sure. I'll even hide behind the pillar you choose. Tell me where you want.
The third
I'm
pillar.
Just trying to.
I mean, I'm guessing I've caught up to you guys, so I'll probably hide somewhere in the back because he's just gonna. Really, he's only good with a bow. So
yeah.
I mean, you guys are. If you're going to follow his plan, you're going to back out towards the pillars.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm okay with that plan.
Yeah, I'll walk right over to wherever he pointed.
I say keep your weapons ready.
I'm not.
Yeah, don't start a fight necessarily.
Just be ready.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point, right?
I mean, I'll bust the troll in the face if I need to, but if I don't need to, I would rather not.
Well, I'll look at our troll before he takes off. I'll even grab him by the elbow if I need to and just say, hey, you give us the word that if you want us to fight. Until then, we're going to just be at the ready.
If I say peanuts, that means attack them.
Okay.
Nod.
Peanuts. Okay.
Peanuts. We now have a code word.
Oh, did he say penis?
Yes.
He did, Schwab. He did.
Actually, Jeff, I love this game.
It's also his safe word. His safe word is also penis.
Make it sound like a dying giraffe.
Wow.
All right, so I'm going to step over behind the pillar. I'm actually going to try and just listen. I don't want to risk being spotted, so I'm not going to put my head around. But I'll definitely keep my ears open, pull my hair back away from my ears, make sure that minimize the chances if I miss anything.
Oh, by the way, guys, I may have to turn in a tiny bit earlier than usual tonight, just because I've got to be up at. What time do I have to be up? 4:30 to fly to San Francisco.
Oh wow.
Okay, so what time do you need to go to bed?
I mean, I think if I went to bed around 11, that's about 5 hours of sleep. So.
Which time zone are you in?
Eastern.
Okay.
So it's 9:30 there.
10.
I have
10:30.
Oh, the clock's wrong here. I'm sorry.
Like 10:20, right?
Yeah.
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 This might be a good place to cliffhanger it then, because
well, we can go a tiny bit longer. I don't want anybody to not have fun on my account. So, I can stay up a little bit longer and.
Well, just knowing what I know, this could go two ways.
I will say
this could take a considerable amount of time, or you could run.
We'll leave the cliffhanger where I shout, I clear my throat and I say, hail and well met, my dudes, in Bestimal.
Ba weep grana weep niniba?
Yeah, exactly that.
So, yeah, the question is do we want to do this or do we want to not? Because we could wind up in another combat. And
my only thing is I will not be here next session.
Right.
Well, I have 9:20 here, which would be 10:20 his time. He said 11 o'clock is reasonable for him. So that'd be 40 minutes. Did I hear you correctly, Aaron, or did I misunderstand?
Yeah, man.
Why don't we just keep going, and if we got to stop in the middle, we got to stop in the middle. Because Mike said he's not going to be here next week, so let's try and get as far as we can, because I apologize. I was late too, so if Aaron's willing, and I certainly don't want to twist his arm in any way, shape, or form, but if he's willing to give us just 40 more minutes, let's just get as far as we can and then call it, even if it's in media res. I mean, that's my feeling. I'm not the guy that runs the show.
Yeah, I just wanted to let him know that this could get involved.
Okay, well, if we gets involved and we stop, then that's it. We write down where we left off, or Hell, this is being recorded on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah.
So watch it and figure it out where we left off.
All right.
I know when we stop, I'm going to watch so that I know what I missed. Where's everybody stand on that? Everybody cool with that?
I'm cool with that.
I agree. I'm perfectly content with that.
All right,
Aaron, you're the biggest guy here that it affects. Are you still cool with it?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
All right, let's go.
All right, so how are you going to do this? Are you going to go up to the room or are you going to yell?
I'm going to yell.
All right. So you yell, "Hell and well met, my dudes," in Trollish. And you hear the sound of ice grating on ice, and you hear upwards of a dozen gravelly, squeaky forest troll voices yelling things like, "Intruders, get them," and various other foul things in Trollish as they come pouring out of the room they were in. Come 12 forest trolls and one larger troll carrying a spear of ice.
I don't understand troll, but I'm going to guess I hear the sounds of steel being drawn.
Well, you hear the sounds of, angry voices that sound an awful lot like what happens when people piss off guards.
All right, I'm going to roll my eyes. I'm still going to wait for him to yell peanuts, but just to be sure. But I'm definitely expecting that any second now.
I say, "Hello, friends. How are you?"
Okay. They.
Oy vey. I need to know, did the trolls say oy vey?
Maybe.
Are they carrying?
All right. So you say, "Hello, friends," and one of them is going to fire at you with his hunting bow.
I say, "Oh, peanuts."
Oh, well, that ding, 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 ding.
Oh, peanuts.
Okay.
Peanuts! All right, so let's see. He doesn't have the world's greatest chance of hitting, and he doesn't. His arrow goes wide. But
I say,
so I come around the pillar and go, "Shit, there's more of them than I thought. Shall we engage?"
yeah, there are 13 of them total.
I book it out of here.
So you just run?
Yeah, I'm not fucking with this.
Before I even get to come from around the pillar, I see him run by me.
Like full, like arms pumping,
Yeah.
like sprinting.
Peanuts,
Yeah.
peanuts.
So I follow Peanuts and run the fuck away.
He's saying it so fast that it sounds like peanuts, and Robert Swab is happy.
Oh, I was just pretending he was saying that already.
So one day he's going to see this and either laugh or give me a cease and desist. I'm not sure which. So
we really don't know which way that's gonna go.
No. All right. So I'm assuming you guys are trying to outrun the forest trolls.
Well, I was going to try
If I
and
outrun,
slow him down a
you
bit,
mean-
but now that it looks like he's literally full arm pumping, running like hell, I guess I'm just going to try and keep up at this point.
Okay. Well, you have a nice clear path of frost and ice that is going to get precedingly more melted as you run. But you have a like I said, a nice clear path to run, and you guys have longer legs, so you can probably keep a decent amount ahead of them. Give me odds or evens, somebody. Odds or evens. Okay.
Odds.
So you keep running, and you hear the sounds of these trolls howling and calling behind you, but their sounds get quieter and quieter until you're running and you realize that you're now running through deep forest. Like you never came back to the spot where the dead forest trolls and the dead pig were. And you're running through deep forest, and then the sounds fade away, and then the next thing you hear is the sound of loud snoring.
Did we find the giant again?
That's my thought.
It sounds familiar.
Ah, well.
Not too familiar.
Even though you guys were like multiple days away from him and going in the wrong direction, you are now back at where the giant was.
Bitch.
This place is one of madness.
How the hell did this happen? Not that I'm complaining, because at least this guy was nice.
What time of day is it?
At this point, it's getting close to sundown.
All right, well, I guess we'll go snuggle with him again.
I was actually just going to say, I'm going to walk around to whatever side is opposite the way we just came from all the shrieking trolls, and then I'm just going to hunker down.
Well, you know that his bed is safe to sleep on. That in Bark Bowl gave you the permission, and he's out. And he's a Vridjoten. I think that's how you say it in Swedish, but
Yeah, we'll snuggle up next to him again.
yeah, he's effectively a earth giant. So
Hopefully he doesn't roll over in his sleep, so we'll be all right.
Oh, I know this guy at least, is okay with us.
Right.
So.
Well, that's what I was saying. Hopefully he doesn't roll over. I'm not saying he's going to intentionally hurt us. I'm going to stay up a little bit, though, just to see that the trolls didn't find us the same way we did here.
yeah, you stay
I
up.
want to know how we've gone from as far back as we were to being here with this guy again.
That is the mystery of that forest, man.
Agreed. I could go for some squirrel. Do you have any left?
You guys have rabbit, so.
Yeah, but I'm kind of in a squirrel mood after all that running.
I mean, as long as you don't mind eating them with all their skin on, when they're petrified with rigor mortis.
Yeah, I'll have the rabbit.
Somebody needs to smack Mr. Squirrel.
Squirrely Dan?
Yep, Squirrely Dan's got some issues.
Yeah, any of the more intelligent amongst you get the general idea that you go nowhere in this forest that it doesn't want you to go.
Wow, this forest is like an overbearing mother.
It's got to be Jewish.
Everybody just started laughing at that one.
That's funny. It doesn't look Druish. I've slipped into space reference. All right, so
the power of the shorts.
You guys, I'm not even going to worry about how well you sleep because you're sleeping on Bark Bull's bed. So probably the best you've slept, I don't know, since you've had access to anything that resembled a comfortable bed in your life. So maybe the best you've ever slept in your life.
Mm.
And if anybody was still damaged, they would heal 1d6 body points for sleeping on his bed.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I'm a bit of a cutter, so
Oh my God.
Oh Jesus!
Not only does he eat vitrified, mostly desiccated squirrels with the fur on, he's a cutter. He's emo on top of it.
Why does that not surprise me?
I think I'm taking all of the value out of this character slowly. Just he's becoming more of a caricature than an actual PC.
He may reverse his time. He may reverse that process in the course of this game. So, all right. So, you guys manage to sleep through the night because it seems peaceful and calm and healthy and full of life in the vicinity of Barkbull. And
maybe I'm not in any hurry to get in any other part of the forest. This is pretty good.
If you guys can sleep through his snoring, you get a very restful sleep.
I think we can manage it.
Let's see. He's 15 times the size of a human, so what does that come out to?
Holy Hannah.
I think that puts him like the size of a double Stormlander fighting force, but
if he's 15 times the size of a human, we're basically cats to him. If we're talking biomass.
Yeah, or less. Let's see.
We curl up on his leg at the end of the bed.
Yeah, the description of him in this particular setting, since they give no actual measurements, you guys would refer to him as tall as a mountain. He's not a little guy.
We could say he was an earth giant, yes?
Yep. Okay, so we rest up here, and
too bad we can't sleep away the years like he does.
No, not quite.
It's funny you say that, Chris. I was seriously just thinking that a moment ago. What a great NPC interaction that would be when he goes something along the lines of, look, guys, I'm just going to take a short nap. I'll come back and answer your questions when I'm done. I just need a little snooze. Meanwhile, it's like 2 years.
6 years later.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, what? It was just a nap. I didn't even go to bed yet. I didn't even go to... that's not even my nightly, quote-unquote, nightly sleep, end quote. Well, that was a nap.
So does this mean we're at a good stopping point?
This is a good one before going into, more exploring of the woods.
Yeah, it's fine.
Your legacy can go one of two ways, either incredibly short or incredibly long.
And it was incredibly short because we ran like little bitches.
Well, that was the thing. It's like this is going to go one of two ways: either an incredibly long combat, or you're going to run. So, I kind of figured that at this point you guys might choose run because then it would have been like 5 to 13. And they may be forest trolls, but when 13 people try to stab you, things happen.
It's less than 3 to 1 odds. We can handle that.
Maybe.
Not at this level.
They're not quite as tough as the skeletons, but... And they do suffer penalties from injuries, so you don't have to just beat on them. But it would have been a rough fight, let's put it that way.
Right. Let's just say when we're outnumbered 2 to 1 at a minimum, I think it's time to run.
So I kind of wonder, had we just led them out of there and then snuck in, what would have happened?
I don't know.
We can always go back.
We'll maybe have to try and go back.
That's assuming the forest will allow us to do such things.
Fair point. But we can try.
It's possible.
All right, we can do it. The forest says we can do it, but we have to be back by 5 because it's making a brisket.
So, don't worry, you guys will pretty much find your way back there at some point, but when is the question? So,
I mean, it's enjoyable as hell and funny as hell, but at current level and at current knowledge of the fighting systems, I'm like...
The combat wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be.
No, it's going to take a little bit to get used to, but it's not that bad. But Yeah, I mean, you guys will get back there because that's a key place, especially if I plan to run the campaign this leads into. Which, if I'm going to run the starting adventure, I might as well run the campaign that I've already,
Right.
committed to the Kickstarter for. So,
All right. Well, I'm gonna head out because I gotta get up early tomorrow too.
All right,
no
be
problem.
good.
Thank you for the game. I had fun.
I'm going to go ahead and
Ditto.
end the broadcast. So if anybody wants to stick around and do some after game stuff, that's an option.
Oh,